All right, it's Monica Shapiro with Grand Blanc Watchdogs, and I have a guest today, Dr. Larry Pack, an a retired orthopedic surgeon of many, many years here in Grand Blanc, right?
Right?
And he's a longtime resident, and he is for the recall. He would like to see Mr. Bennett and Mr. Robertson on the ballot in November so we can decide if we think they should stay or go. So,
Yes.
what problems have you had specifically with
Our problems are our neighborhood problems, which uh, came from a rezoning of property adjacent to our home, um, between Baldwin and our home, actually, and it was initially neighborhood. It was initially a neighborhood
parcel?
residential parcel, and it was changed to neighborhood commercial and zoning, and that was
Out from
pushed
under
by
you, pushed.
right, pushed by the board. The only person who voted against it was Damon Brown, and Mr. Robertson. I've actually had a fundraiser for him many years ago at our house. And so he knows exactly where we live and what our home looks like. And
And what it would
I,
mean
I
to have a commercial building right there.
yeah, and I think he has total disregard for us in particular, but I think for
Residents in general.
residents in general in this side of Grand Blanc. I think the board is all about commercial development of Baldwin Road, or industrialization is what I would.
Industrial development. They call it the Downtown Development Authority, and they keep promising Technology Village to mean that it's somehow a live, work, play neighborhood that they're constructing there. But really,
Yes,
what have they done but make Baldwin Road an industrial?
it's an industrial two-lane highway right now, and I know they would like to probably make it a three-lane. I think you're
Hmm.
going to have difficulty making it a four-lane because of the water
Space.
encroachment
Yeah.
and the bridge over the railroad track. But they're building. There's high density housing being built just south of us, and I'm a pilot. I fly over this area occasionally just to see what's going on. And they've cleared a lot of this of the area south of Baldwin that was for this industrial, I don't know, industrial commercial high tech park.
Yep.
And but there's a development just south of us between the Mexican restaurant and a I don't know, it's a retirement home or
Right.
memory care or whatever
Yes.
development, and it's high density. I've flown over that, and I can count at least 40 foundations, 40 buildings under construction, and it's not a big spot.
I
So
know, and it's
I just
surrounded
wonder
on
what,
two sides by busy roads, three
right.
sides. It's not a
And there
nice place to live.
and there was an elderly a gentleman a few years ago who was in memory care, and he was killed on Baldwin Road, and that was
Exactly.
really kind of covered up. So, and there was a doctor a few years ago. One of the residents at Genesis was coming home from being on call one night, and she um, hit some ice on the overpass over the railroad track, and she was killed.
Oh,
So, it is it's not the it's kind of a dangerous road. People drive 55 on it and faster, and I just it's been a quiet area. I've about a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, my neighbors and I, when we got wind of this thing that the township was trying to do, we went out and had a petition signed, and we went to all the neighbors in our neighborhood, which is the Green Hill area, Green Hill. I talked to Hank Graff about it. He wasn't in favor, but he wouldn't sign the petition because, of his prominence, business prominence in the area.
yes.
I
Yes.
think that was part of it.
And he
But
won't.
Hank was not in favor. He was
Yeah.
not in favor of this. And And then I canvassed Warwick Hills and went around the neighborhood over there, and people like the Jackalones, they didn't like the idea at all. Of course, Eamon Brown didn't, and we talked to a bunch of people, and I did. And then I went over to Braymore and talked to the people over there, Gary Kramer, the neighborhood,
Woodfield
uh,
or
and we went to Woodfield too. We did
yeah,
Woodfield
Braymore.
and Braymore, and then the neighborhood just
So
you
you went
know
door to door trying
yes,
to fight a zoning issue in your neighborhood.
and we didn't have anybody that was in favor of it,
And
and the
and
board
then you
knew that,
take it to the board, and what
and they just
happens?
well they just buried it, and they said that this was not part that they had a plan, they had I
The
forgot what kind of
master
plan they called
plan.
master plan, but that was passed actually during COVID when
Yes.
everybody was locked down. You couldn't go to, I mean, nobody could go to any meetings,
It's
but
not
they did
just a
it
question.
quietly.
Yes. Well, they didn't do it that quietly because I participated in the various virtual meetings they conducted, and I went to some before everything shut down. It was semi-known, but I'll tell you what wasn't known, even by the people that were paying attention and trying and answering the survey and trying to be a part of the noise around it, saying what we wanted. What wasn't uh, made public was a little first of all, they had the whole DDA mapped out, and it's all sort of it goes in and out of places where it's that you aren't technically a part of the DDA. And the idea is downtown development authority that enables them to give incoming companies a big 50% tax break in exchange for supposedly raising values all around so that as the town comes up, the values go up, and we get to keep that money here in Grand Blanc, although only to benefit that downtown development authority. But when you turn it into an industrial development authority, which is basically what they've done, but they're calling it a downtown development, the tax increment increase isn't the same, and it doesn't benefit people particularly. It doesn't benefit the township. It's just that these big companies coming in at less tax and some sort of high density housing to house them. So at that end of town, you have factory workers and small starter homes where they can all cluster. And that's basically, that was the model for part of the development of Flint in the first place. It's not really the way any of us envisioned Grand Blanc going.
No, it's always been kind of known, even in the Detroit area, and I am from Detroit, and as a pastoral community.
Pastoral, bedroom community,
Right.
quiet. And now we have all this traffic. So much
Yeah.
traffic, 18,000 cars a day. A day. It's a ridiculous amount of traffic that we have. But the thing is, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. However, in general, residents of neighborhoods are more than allowed to come out when there's a notice in the paper saying we're going to change the zoning in your neighborhood. You can come and speak against this if
Yeah.
come. And it used to be that they would hide those and people wouldn't be aware and the zoning would change, but they have to post it quite a lot, and there's people like you in the neighborhoods that do follow this stuff. So the recourse was supposed to be that you would come to the town and say, no, we don't want this. And that would be tough luck on that developer.
Yeah.
But the power is all on the other side now. You have no power. They are fighting you to
Yeah.
protect what you see is your own individual neighborhood. And that isn't really the way the zoning laws were supposed to be used as a
Well, there's a development down in Clarkston that's similar next to the freeway, and the same plan. They were going to build a kind of a residential, high tech area adjacent to the freeway, and this is Clarkston, not Grand
Mhm.
Blanc, This is Clarkston next to Rochester and,
More
Bloomfield and all that
desirable
stuff.
stuff. Yep.
More desirable and more, a different economy, really. And
Yes.
that thing is really not taken off.
It
So,
isn't.
so
So
I
why do
say,
they think this is?
exactly. That's the. I mean, how do they think this is going to happen?
How
Where they're trying
do
to
they?
reinvent it. They're
Do
stupid
they?
people.
Yes,
That's
they
why
are.
they're stupid, and they're also deceitful. And
Yes.
and Scott Bennett, I knew his mother. She was a great gal, and I knew her, worked with her at McLaren. And I'm just surprised. Scott told me one thing, did something else, voted a different way. I was surprised, really. Robertson is a hypocrite. That's all there is to him. He is just getting a paycheck. He got his state money, and he's just riding the train.
Yeah,
And
people always
I
say he's
really
never had a real job. He just gets elected.
no. He really just he's a I don't know.
And he's doing
Need better
nothing as a
people.
clerk except jumping in when they need a cover up. Well, guess what we'll do? We'll charge $160,000 for a FOIA request. That'll keep them
Yeah.
from seeing our nefarious emails in which we um, talk darkly about how can we stop these things. How can we keep Gent from going to the public and saying Gent wasn't going to go to the public, but he asked for $440,000 for safe staffing back in August, and they didn't give it to him, and he
Yeah.
left it in the budget. They didn't give it to him. He's not going to back down and say he doesn't need it, and that caused the whole problem over there. And then when they didn't want all their emails where they're saying, "Oh my God, what if people found out about this kind of stuff?" So they
Yeah.
hired a PR firm. They charged this ridiculous fee so that people wouldn't see their emails. And now they're being sued. And this is what they do all day. They
Yeah.
they have petty vendettas against various people, and they fight with the fire department of all things. They're spending money like crazy all over town, especially on consultants. And the
Well,
fire chief says
I
he
think
needs
that
more people and they don't give it to him. What are they doing?
I think their main objective is to make sure they have funding for their pension plans. I really believe that that's the bottom line. I wish. I mean, I don't understand why in Genesee County the development, instead of developing industrially Grand Blanc, that's a
Right.
well-established,
Residential
residential community.
community.
Why don't you do something in Flint? My God, they need the
Absolutely.
Flint needs the money more than Grand Blanc. I mean,
They certainly
Flint is.
do. We are all employed in other towns, most of us, to get our
I
money.
mean,
We commute
the
back to
AC,
this peaceful place.
the AC area. It's just Dort Highway. I just I don't understand it. I don't know why everybody is running away from Flint. I really think it's sad, and
Flint
I don't know what you
Oddly
do.
enough, Flint itself is becoming the bedroom community, and they're going to be doing the factory work out here in the suburbs
Right,
because Flint
probably
has better
right.
restaurants and Flint has nice apartments now, and it's coming up. It's got the university there. It's becoming the nice place you want to live, and we're becoming the industrial place where they drive out and work.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I don't know. It's the vision is bad, and
yes, well, it's
the
Dennis Lemina's
leadership is
vision.
horrible.
The
It's
leadership is
horrible.
the leadership is they follow this guy who says he can run the township like a business, a bad business, I say, a poorly
Yeah.
run business. And
Yeah.
it's not serving the community. And
No.
people are not, we don't feel a community sense or pride because of
No.
this. It could be a lot better, is all we're
It's not
saying.
Rochester Hills, that's for
Well,
sure.
now
No.
listen, let's get to the nitty gritty. If we get these two guys on the ballot, Scott Bennett and Dave Robertson, takes 6,000 signatures to get those two guys on the ballot in November. They get voted off. There are two and maybe three people on the board who agree with you and me and would like to be able to vote other than unanimously. And right now, it just is frowned upon. Dennis comes in and he says, vote to approve, vote to deny, and they follow in lockstep because they're a team and they have consensus. That's all Scott's buzzwords about it. So that's how it operates now. You get two new people in there, and you've got 4-3 on the board to stop what's
Yeah.
going on. That's a good thing. That's a real, tangible, strong difference that could be made if you'll sign the petitions now. But people aren't signing, so that's a whole other thing.
Well, I think one way my sister ran for school board in Traverse City. Traverse City, my sister is conservative. Traverse City is an extremely left-wing liberal city.
Right.
And my sister got elected and she didn't take a dime from a soul. And the way she did it was she went to football games, events, and she was there with her brochures that she paid for
Yeah.
herself and her clipboard. And, after a while, the things started to steamroll and she got elected in a place. I was surprised. Everybody was surprised. But you know what? She's the only voice of common sense on that school board right now. And
Right.
they know it.
Yeah.
And they know it. And she's interviewed constantly by Jolly and all these radio celebrities up there. And she's a nurse and she's well educated and she's made some major changes. She instituted the cell phone thing in the schools.
Well, you're making
And
me feel bad that I lost mine, but I did go door to door really, and I went to all the events. And I came in close, 11,000 to 12,000. I wish I could have done all that. I'm a pretty conservative person too, and a voice of common sense. So locally, it can be done, but the processes that are in place don't make it easy, and you didn't get enough signatures on to you were trying to get that zoning change placed on
yeah,
the ballot. That was the only recourse you had after the planning commission shot you down and recommended to the board that they go ahead with the zoning change and not listen to your protests. I was at the meeting where the planning commission spuriously decided to vote that down on your neighborhood.
yeah,
And they were saying things like, well, you should have come out when we did the.
right.
But what I started to say was that in that master plan document, your little piece that was vulnerable to a zoning change, the places where they had said these might be potential zoning changes. It was little pink areas on the map. And I'm sure that everybody that went to any master planning meeting didn't really notice that or think about it. They were little, it was, here's the DDA, it's mostly commercial, don't worry about it. But here's these other areas where we might be putting through some zoning changes. And it was
Yeah.
that your little piece, your tiny little pink dot on the map, like you would have seen that in the hearings or anyone would have. It was just snuck in there because they had a deal with that guy. What's his name? The guy that spoke for 20 minutes and when he was only supposed to have 3 at public comments. That he's a developer. Is it
Mansour?
I
Was it
think
Mansour or
it.
was it the lawyer?
Well, that the lawyer spoke, and it might have
Yeah.
been Mansour's lawyer. And I would be remiss. I am not sure who the person is that had the deal with Scott and Dennis that they could put what have they put there? Have they put anything yet? Is it going to be
No,
offices?
no, but there's some serious wetland issues on that property. And I think it's going to cost a lot to develop it. And
Good.
I don't understand. I don't understand what they were going to do. I don't know. If it's,
Why they
we
fought
have,
so hard to have it.
I don't know. We have a pond on our property, and my wife and I have gone out and looked at the elevations. My son's a civil engineer. He's looked at it, and I can tell you if they disturb the water flow on that and our backyard floods, they're going to get sued. And I
Yes.
can promise you they will
Yes.
be. And I don't,
And when you say there's wetland problems, they're problems for builders, but we want to protect what little green space we have left. That's a
yeah,
big the
yeah,
all the teenagers in that master plan survey said that they gave the township a C- in protecting our environment, and they all said it was their number one concern, the environment. These are the young people we're trying to retain, and they just
yeah.
stomped all over what they said in the master plan survey. So it's clear. Have we been talking? Oh, we've been talking 20 minutes. I'm going to have to edit this way down, but
Okay.
um,
Oh,
thank you
Lord.
for talking to me. And I know your wife supports the idea of a recall
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So,
Yeah, yeah. And I
and
think Dave Schoen does, and I think, John Renovich does, and,
there's
he's my
people who
neighbor. And
support it, but we need financial help to hire the people to help us do
yeah,
the signatures. But that's a whole other thing. And I suppose I
yeah.
have people that are supposedly out there trying to do that. So we'll see.
Oh, Monica, I tell you, it's a, you know, a good cause.
It
And
is a good
I,
cause.
I, I applaud you for hanging in there.
Thank you.
It's something that, Debbie and I have been on committees here in Grand Blanc over the years, and you go to the meetings and nobody does anything. They don't
No,
do anything.
they don't do
This
anything.
community, people come in with good ideas from the outside.
Yes,
We're really kind of outsiders. We're from the Detroit area, but we've lived here for over 45 years. But, our families are in Detroit. We know what's going on down there.
and you
And
bring good ideas.
and you know what? They don't want to change anything. They don't want to. You look at Fenton. Fenton's running all over Grand Blanc. You know,
Absolutely. Davison is running
restaurants.
all over Grand
It,
Blanc.
it is. You're right. It is right. And it's just simply poor leadership. We've
Poor
got
leadership.
poor leadership. We really do. So
All right. Thanks. Thanks for talking to me.
thanks, Monica. Bye
Bye.
bye.